If you're hearing the term "I can't afford it," it simply means that you're fishing in the wrong pond, and we're going to go through how and why that's the case in this video. Now, you might be in a situation where you're constantly hearing objections like, "I can't afford it, that's too expensive, can I do a payment plan?" And if that's the case, the problem isn't actually your pricing. The problem is where you're currently finding your lead. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why that means it's a symptom of you fishing in the wrong pond, and more importantly, what the right pond looks like and how it can be solved in terms of your client quality. And so this is the same approach that's taken me to over 55,000 followers, all organically on LinkedIn, 10 million impressions, and our clients' calendars to be full like this, with inboxes like that and payment dashboards that look like that, all based on the types of approaches we're going to be covering right now. And so you might be in a situation where, because you're constantly hearing things like, "That's too expensive, I can't afford it right now, can I do a payment plan?" that you start questioning yourself, thinking, well, maybe my pricing's just too high. Maybe I need to lower my rates. But actually, again, that's not the problem. The problem is that you're talking to the wrong people. So the real truth here is that your offer isn't too expensive. You're just attracting people who can't afford you. And the reason that you're attracting those people is because of where you're fishing. Now, if you go fishing in a pond full of broke people, what are you going to do? You're going to catch broke people. It doesn't matter how good your offer is or how clear your value prop is. They simply don't have the budget. But if you fish in a pond full of high ticket buyers, people who have real problems and real budgets, then price objections will disappear quickly. And this is the real client quality problem. But the good news is that it's 100% solvable. So what are some of the wrong ponds? Where are you fishing that might be attracting some of the more broke people? Well, for example, Instagram, right? People on Instagram, they're in a consumer mindset. They're scrolling for entertainment and they're not looking to invest 10K in a business solution typically. You've then got TikTok, for example. That's an entertainment platform. People go there to be distracted, not to solve expensive problems. So you've got like Facebook groups. Most Facebook groups are just full of freebie seekers who are seeking free advice and not actual paid services. So these platforms attract people who can't necessarily afford high ticket services. So if you're generating leads from these platforms, you're often going to hear, "I can't afford it," over and over again. And that's not really your fault. It's just the wrong pond. So what is the right pond? Well, the right pond is LinkedIn. And the reason it's LinkedIn is because it's got over 65 million decision makers. So this is CEOs, founders, VPs, directors, people who actually have the authority and the budget to hire you. So when someone's actually on LinkedIn, they're then in a business mindset. They're not there to be entertained. They're there to solve real problems, to learn and to find experts who can help them to grow their business. They have high ticket budgets, so they understand that solving expensive problems requires an actual investment. And they're not just looking for the cheapest option, they're looking for the best option. Most importantly, they're actively looking for solutions. So they're not being interrupted by outreach. They're searching for someone like you. So this is what the right pond looks like. And if you fish here, you're going to see that price objections will start to disappear. So I can give you a bit of an example of what the client difference actually could look like. When you're fishing in the wrong pond, you're going to hear things like, "I can't afford it." But when you're fishing in the right pond, you're going to hear, "How soon can we start?" So it's the same offer, same pricing, but a different audience, because the people on LinkedIn, they're not asking you for payment plans. They're not saying "that's too expensive." They're actually asking more about implementation timelines and onboarding processes and really expected results. So this is what happens when you start to attract the right types of people. The conversation completely changes. So you might be thinking, well, why does LinkedIn attract high ticket buyers? Now, the first thing is that they're solving actual business problems and not personal problems. So they're not looking for life coaching or personal development. People on there are looking for solutions to grow their business and to increase revenue. The second thing is that they actually have revenue. So they're not necessarily only aspiring entrepreneurs with no income. They're established business owners with existing clients and cash flow. Third is that they understand ROI. So they don't just look at cost. They look at the return on their investment. And if you can show them how your offer will generate 10 times their investment, that's going to put them in a situation where they're going to be prompted to say yes. The fourth thing is that they're decision makers and not just employees. So they have the authority to make purchasing decisions without asking for permission. And this is the type of audience that you want. And LinkedIn is fundamentally where they live. Now, the real positioning shift that you're going to need to make is to stop selling to consumers and start partnering with actual business owners. Because when you're talking to consumers, your offer is going to feel like an expense. It's like money going out the door with no clear return. But when you're talking to business owners, your offer is then an investment. It's money that's going to generate more money, and business owners really understand this. They make investment decisions every single day. They hire employees, they buy software, they invest in their marketing. So if you can position your offer as an investment that will generate an actual return, you'll see that price objections will start to disappear. And the only way to have these types of conversations is if you're fishing in the right pond in the first place. So to actually attract high ticket buyers on LinkedIn, there's really a 4-step process you're going to want to follow. The first step is to optimize your profile for decision makers. So this is your headline, your about section, your featured section. Everything should speak directly to business owners that actually have expensive problems. The second step is to post content that speaks to these business problems. So don't just post motivational quotes or personal stories. Post real frameworks and strategies and insights that will really help a business owner to solve a real challenge. The third step is to engage with your ideal client strategically. So actually identify the decision makers that you want to work with and then engage with their content each and every day. The fourth step is then to position yourself as a partner and not as a vendor. You're selling a real service. You're actually offering a partnership that will then help them to grow their business. Now, when you do these 4 things, you then attract high ticket buyers who will never ask you about price. Now, I can give you a quick breakdown of the content strategy here that actually attracts high ticket buyers. First of all, talk about ROI and not features. So don't just say I offer one-on-one coaching. Say I help consultants generate 50K in new revenue in 90 days. The second thing is that you want to share case studies with revenue results. So high ticket buyers often value proof, so show them real numbers when you can. The third thing is speak the language of the business owner. So talk about pipeline, revenue, ROI, scalability, and systems. These are the words that will resonate with these types of decision makers. So for example, I could say something like, I helped a client generate 200K in 90 days. That's infinitely more powerful than I'm a great coach. And this is the type of content that will attract the types of people who can afford you. So once you're doing this and you're fishing in the right pond, you're going to see that these I can't afford it type of statements will turn into what's the ROI. So you can see the objection might shift more so from price to value, because when someone's asking you about ROI, they're not actually saying no, they're basically just asking for more information to help them to get to a yes. And this is the type of conversation that you want to be having. And LinkedIn's the only platform where you can consistently have these types of conversations, right? So some examples that we've had, for example, we had a client who was generating leads on Instagram, and almost all of their calls were ending with, I can't afford it, or can you do a payment plan? So we shifted most of her lead gen actually to LinkedIn, the same offer, same pricing, different pond. And within 60 days, she closed her first 30K deal without a payment plan, without any heavy price objections, just a qualified buyer who actually understood the value. We also had another client who was hearing a lot that that's too expensive, and we also shifted him to LinkedIn. And within 90 days, he eliminated payment plan requests almost entirely. And that's the power of fishing in the right pond. The results speak for themselves. So based on where you are right now, you can obviously stay continuing to fish in the wrong pond, or make that shift towards LinkedIn, which will put you in a position where you're attracting more premium clients. Now, everything that I've gone through in this video is just a small piece of the type of thing we cover in what we call the Influx Autopilot system. And I recorded a short free training video, which basically breaks down the entire system. And it shows you how we guarantee at least $50,000 in pipeline within 90 days for our clients. So if you do want to see that full framework, the full positioning, and the content that actually attracts these high ticket buyers, I've left a link in the description box below of this video for you to check out. And it will walk you through exactly how this breakdown comes together to put you in a position where you can attract more premium clients with more consistency. If you did gain something from this particular video, please do take a second to like it, comment, share, and subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.